Boker Tov, everyone. We are on Daf Nun Ham Rel 55a at the Mishnah, right at the top. Here we go. Yesterday I was preparing it. It's 55. I said, well, I thought we were in the 40s right now. We're 55. It's Baruch Hashem. Okay. Nedarim min dagan. The person makes a neder not to have dagan. So dagan in general is, like grains. But we're going to see dagan is also, we're going to see in the Gemara, things of the word digun, dagan, is things that get piled up. So generally grains, but let's see, there's that and there's tevua. These are the translations of these words is with the topic of today. Nedarim min dagan. The person says, I don't want to have dagan anymore. Asur beful hamitzri yavesh. Divrei Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says that includes ful hamitzri yavesh. We saw this already. This item, which is fava beans, Egyptian fava beans, the dry ones. Remember we said if a person says a neder on yerek, on vegetables, it includes ful hamitzri, the fresh ones, but the dry ones seems like it is also piled up like a grain, and therefore it's also included in dagan. Let's look at the Ran on the left side. We're going to go probably through all the runs today. Let's go to the Ran on the left side. Nedarim min dagan asur beful hamitzri yavesh. The kevan de midgan, since they piled them up, she'osin mimenu dagan, and really the on the side over here it changes the word dagan to goren. Goren is, as we know, that is a like a pile and used like for grains. So since this is piled up, the dagan mikri. It's also called dagan. Okay, so that's Rabbi Meir. He includes ful hayavesh ful mitzri hayavesh when a person says a neder on dagan. Back to the Mishnah. Chachamim omrim eno asur ela b'chameshet haminim. Dagan is chameshet haminim. What's chameshet haminim? The 5 types of grains. These are 5 grains that you can make matzah with, and the 5 grains that are chametz: wheat, barley, oat, spelt, and rye. Chitas, seora, shibol, shuel, shifon, and kusemet. And rice is not one of the 5, and that's why it's not officially not chametz, and it's just a minhag that we have that those that don't eat it, etc. So again, wheat, barley, oat, rye, and spelt. Chamesh taminim. Mishnah continues. Rabbi Meir Omer. Nedarim min tevua. Person says the word tevua. I don't want to have no more tevua. Eno asur ela mechamesh taminim. Rabbi Meir says that's when it's limited to just the chamesh taminim. Aval nedarim min dagan. The person says, I don't want to have dagan. Asur bakol. Umutar b'perot ha'ilan v'yerek. Asur bakol, you're asur in everything, but you're allowed to have fruits in the tree and vegetables. So, right off the bat, it looks like a stira in Rabbi Meir. In the beginning, it was Nedarim min dagan. The person says a neder from dagan. Asur in Pula Mitzri Yavesh, meaning you could look at it as saying, what does dagan mean? Just Pula Mitzri. But no. It means everything that's piled up, including Pula Mitzri. And then, later on in the Mishnah, Rabbi Meir says Tevua is limited to the 5 grains. Dagan is everything except for Perot Ha'ilan and Yerek. So is everything more than just Pula Mitzri? It seems like it. So we'll see. We'll actually not see today this to understand Rabbi Meir.
Rice, according to Meir.
Maybe it's even including rice. It's everything except for Perot Ha'ilan and Yerek. So, but at the beginning of the Mishnah, it's just Asur Pula Mitzri. So we won't see that today. Yeah, it's on exactly Orel Chika. That's the Mizrach tomorrow. We will see that. Okay. Says the Gemara. Lememra, the Dagan called the Midgan Mashma. This comes to teach us. We could learn from a Mishnah that Rabbi Meir that Dagan is anything that's Midgan, anything that's piled up. Metiv Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef asks a question on this. Now Rabbi Yosef is going to bring the pasuk, and this pasuk we're going to be dealing with for a bit. Rabbi Yosef brings a pasuk, and if you have the pasuk on the side, you can see it fully. But here it quotes a lot of it. Basically, let's read the Ran first before we read the pasuk, because the Ran gives us a background of this pasuk. It's the third line down in the Ran from the top. Ukiparutza davar. When the word spread, when the thing spread. Let's see the Ran. Mikrahu b'divrei hayamim. This pasuk is in divrei hayamim. To be in the days of Chizkiah, lo hayu zirizin la'afrish terumot u'ma'aserot. Unfortunately, the Jews were not quick to take off terumah and ma'aser on their foods in Israel. So Amad Chizkiah stood up, got up, and he made a takana v'tiken. Sheyaviu otam bet Hashem. He made a takana, bring your terumah and ma'aser to the Bet HaMikdash. And basically, he wanted to strengthen this mitzvah, and to go to the Bet HaMikdash was a big thing, and it was a chashuv thing, and it was an important thing in the eyes of the people, of course. So, terumah ma'aser we have to bring to the Bet HaMikdash. So people now were more into it, and they would bring it to the Bet HaMikdash, and then he would take care of the terumah and ma'aser there. He made it a big thing. And continuing the run, v'ktiv keparutza davar, when the thing spread, meaning shenit chazka, the gavra takanato shel Chizkiah, when the takana, the enactment of Chizkiah got strong, so that's when this pasuk is talking about. So let's go back to the pasuk. Keparutza davar, back to the Gemara. Keparutza davar. So Rav Yosef is going to ask a question from this pasuk. Ukeparutza davar, when this enactment got strong, then hirbu b'nei Israel, many b'nei Israel, they brought a lot of reshit dagan, the beginning of their dagan, their grains, tirosh, their wines, v'yitzar, and their oils, v'chol tevuat sadeh, and all of the produce of the field, u'ma'aser hakol larov. It adds it over here. That's in the pasuk. U'ma'aser hakol larov heviu. It's the end of the pasuk. And the ma'aser on 10% of everything, in abundance, they brought. Okay, so the pasuk lists the items that they brought. Now, with this list, that's what Rav Yosef is going to ask. So this says the Gemara, "V'iyamrat dagan called the midgan mashma." If you said dagan is everything that's piled, my keparot hadavar hirbu. What does this mean? Keparot hadavar hirbu, that they brought a lot of things. So the Gilion over here on the side adds in my v'chotiv what hasadeh. What does this mean? The question here is, what's kol tevot hasadeh? Doesn't dagan include kol tevot hasadeh? Because tevuah generally would mean grains, and grain is piled up. So dagan is talking about piled up things. So dagan kol tevot hasadeh. So what's kol tevot hasadeh? So like these words are extra in the pasuk. But the Gilion on the side adds that the pasuk is talking. The question is, "My v'chotiv what hasadeh." What is v'chotiv what hasadeh? Isn't it included in dagan? Yeah, look at the Ran. He has the girsa of the Gilion, which is the second line down in the thin lines. Hirbu b'nei Israel, v'gomer. V'amra dagan kol midgan mashma. If dagan means everything that's piled, my bekotivot hasadeh. What's the kotivot hasadeh? Isn't dagan including that? Deha, says the Ran, kol de midgan havu bichlal dagan. Everything that's piled is included in the word dagan. V'im ken kol tivot hasadeh bichlal. If so, then every produce from the field is included. Isn't it included in that? So we're trying to define these items that were brought and trying to translate dagan and tivua. So dagan, you said, is everything that's piled. Shouldn't that include kol tivuat hasadeh? Back to the Gemara. Amar Abaye. No, la'atuyeh, to include perot ha'ilan ve'yerek, fruits of the tree and vegetables. And says the Ran, la'atuyeh perot ha'ilan ve'yerek, she'eno sin dagan. You don't pile up. So you could make piles of, but it's not the way that you usually transport fruits and vegetables. So therefore, kol tivot hasadeh is including fruits and vegetables, but dagan is still things that are piled up, and kol tivot hasadeh is fruits and vegetables. So that's how we understand the pasuk. Okay, so we're not done with the pasuk yet, but that is the first explanation to understand kol tivot hasadeh. Gemara continues. Rabbi Meir Omer, Nedarim min tevua. Gemara quotes the Mishnah that says Rabbi Meir says that if you make a neder on tevua, that's specifically the 5 grains. Amar Rav Yochanan, says Rav Yochanan, Akol modim, everyone agrees, b'nodeh min tevua she'en asur ela mechamesh taminim. Everybody agrees, when you say a neder on tevua, it's only the 5 minim that are asur. Only the 5 minim that are asur. Tanya Namihachi, there's a braita to back this up. Shavin ben noder min tevua she'en asur ela beheminim. So it's equal, meaning it's the same that when a person says, I don't want to eat tevua, it means he doesn't want to eat the 5 grains. Okay? Says the Gemara Pshita, isn't that obvious? Isn't tevua grains? I mean, dagan is things that are piled. So that could include fula mitzri, that could include other piled things. Tevua is 5 grains. Isn't that obvious? Says the Gemara. Ma'udatema, you would have thought, tevua kol mili mashma. Maybe tevua means everything. Tevua maybe means everything. And we'll see what the Ran's going to explain this. Why does tevua mean everything? Kamashmalan delo mashma kol mili. No, kamashmalan tevua doesn't mean everything. It means just the 5 grains. Now, why would I think tevua means everything? Let's see the Ran. So again, Rav Yochanan says tevua is the 5 grains, and there's a braita that backs that up also. Well, isn't that obvious? Isn't tevua that's what tevua means? No, tevua, you might have thought it means everything. I guess all produce, but it doesn't mean everything. It just means the 5 grains. Let's see the Ran. Hakol modim. This is now about 3, 6, 8 lines down to the thin lines of the Ran. Hakol modim benodem min tevua. Even though the Mishnah said this in Lashon Yachid, meaning it was just Rabbi Meir that said it, but really it's everybody. Everybody agrees to this. That when you say tevua, it includes the 5 grains. Ma'udatema tevua kol mili mashma. You would have thought maybe tevua means everything. Why? Says the Ran, midimit targeminan, we go with the Targum. The Targum and the little hay over here takes you to Pasuk in the Torah, that the Targum Unkelus, the Aramaic translation of Tevua, is alalta. It's the word alalta. Ve'alalta mashma kol mili. Kedem lekaman. And the word alalta means everything, all produce, like we're going to say later on in the Gemara. So you might have thought tivua means all produce. That's what it sounds like. That's what you could infer it as that. But no, it means just the 5 grains. So it's not so pashut. You would have thought it means everything because the targum is alalta. But no, it's limited to the 5 grains. Okay, back to the Gemara. Metiv Rav Yosef. A little more than a third down. Metiv Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef asks a question. Ukeparot hadavar hirbu b'nei Israel. He quotes this pasuk again. We just came off saying Tevua means the 5 grains. Asks Rav Yosef, hold on, this pasuk teaches me something else. Again, here on the side, it adds the words. If you have a little gimel on the side, that because here it just quotes the pasuk and says v'chulei. Meaning, Yusuf Tivua means the 5 grains. And we also said though that we just said before that's Abaye. We said before Tevuat Hasadeh, and the word Tevuat Hasadeh includes the fruits and vegetables. So what's going on? I thought Tevuah is just the 5 grains. That's the Gemara's question. That's Rav Yosef's question. Rav Yosef, meaning he's bringing this pasuk to show you that Tevuah, Kol Tevuat Hasadeh, and we just came off in the earlier Gemara, Abaye's answer, the Tevuat Hasadeh is Perot HaIlan ve'Yerek. So Amar Rava's answer, he says there's a difference. Tevuah lechud, Tevuat Sadeh lechud. Depends. What does the pasuk say? Tevuah or Tevuat Sadeh? Tevuat Sadeh is perot ve'yirakot. Tevuah is grains. So that's the difference over here. So now when we plug it into the Gemara, into the pasuk says Tevuat Sadeh. So that's why Tevuat Sadeh is the perot and yirakot. Okay, so what comes out is dagan is anything that's piled, and that includes the 5 grains, but not limited to the 5 grains. It includes the 5 grains. And the Gemara asked earlier, what's Tevuat Sadeh? So no, that is talking about fruits and vegetables. So now we say, okay, a person just says Tevuah, it's just the 5 grains. So if Tevuah is 5 grains, the pasuk says Tevuat Sadeh. Says Rava, no, there's Tevuah, there's Tevuat Sadeh. Tevuah is 5 grains, Tevuat Sadeh is fruits and vegetables. So it comes out, Tevuah is 5 grains, Tevuat Sadeh is fruits and vegetables. Dagan is anything that's piled. So 5 grains plus the food mitzri, plus any other, it's the only other example we saw, but other things that are piled up. Okay. Okay, here we go. Says the Gemara. We are 2, 4, 6 lines up from the bottom. From the bottom of the thinner lines. Bar Marshmuel, the son of Marshmuel, Pakid, he left in his will the liton to give to Lesar Afi Zuzi 13,000 zuz, lerava, to Rava, min alalta de Nahar Panya, from his alalta, that is by the river Panya. Not bad, 13,000 zuz, that's a lot of money. Remember, the way to gauge it is a keturah for a woman is 200 zuz. And that's enough for a woman to live off for a year. So 13,000 is not bad.
Yeah, so 100 for a man.
65 years.
It's a lot of years.
A lot of money. Yeah. So 65 years?
Yeah.
Right,
65
13,000.
Roman years.
You said 200?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. 130
65
divided by
Roman
2.
years. With men, it's 130.
Yeah. Okay, so he leaves this big will to Rava. Shalcha Rava, back to the Gemara. Shalcha Rava kameder Rav Yosef. Alalta hechi mikri. Rava sends a message to Rav Yosef. And let's just remember for later in the story, Rav Yosef was blind at the later years of his life. Alalta hechi mikri. What's alalta? What does it mean exactly, alalta? Amar Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says, matnitini. It's a Mishnah. And that's our Mishnah. V'shavim v'noder min ha'tevua she'en asur ela b'chamesh taminim. That equal, meaning when a person says, I want to make a neder on tevua, that's equal to him saying, I don't want to have the 5 grains. And he says, alalta has 5 grains basically. That's what Rav Yosef tells Rava. Amar le Abaye. Abaye tells Rav Yosef. Hold on a second. Midami, are they compared? Is Tivua and Alalta the same? Tivua lo mashma ela mechamesh taminim. Alalta kol mili mashma. Tivua is mashma. It sounds like Tivua is grain, and that's 5 grains. Alalta is everything, like any produce. So, Adruo kame lekame de Rava. They told this answer back to Rava. That they told Abaye's pshat back to Rava. That it's kol mili, it's everything. Amar. Now he says. So Rava said, "Ha lokami bayili." That wasn't my question. The alalta kol mili mashma. I knew alalta means, meaning his original question, his question was, what does alalta mean? Yosef says, me 5 grains. Abaye says, no, it doesn't mean 5 grains. It was 5 grains. Alalta means everything. They brought that back to Rava. Everything. So Rava says, no, that wasn't my question. I didn't want to ask you really what alalta meant. I knew alalta means everything. Halokami bayeli. That wasn't my question. I know alalta means everything. But hadahu ibayli. This was my question. Schar batim v'schar sfinot mai. The rent from houses and the rent from boats. What is it? Meaning, remember this guy, Rava, he was supposed to get 13,000 zuz from the inheritance. So in this inheritance, the guy owned houses, the guy owned boats, and they were rented out. So you want to know, can you just go get cash from the houses? Is that included in alalta? So miyam rinan, end of the 3rd line down. Do we say kevan de pachtan lav alaltai? Since a house and a boat could go down in value, and could go down in value also because of wear and tear, so it's not called alalta. It's not called alalta. It's something that decreases, so it's not called it. Or Dilmar maybe kevan de lo yadia pachtayu alaltahi. Or no, because it is called alalta because it's not noticeable, the loss. The wear and tear is not noticeable. I guess they didn't have real estate swings. It's how the prices maybe were somewhat constant, stable. So, but there was wear and tear. So, but the wear and tear is not so noticeable. So it's considered alalta. It's part of everything. It's part of his all of his stuff. So that's what Rava was wondering. That's what Rava was wondering. Okay, let's read some runs and then we'll come back to the continuation here. Let's continue. Just Bar Marshmuel, Pakid Lekhule, Alalta Yechim Mikreya. Shelo yalo leRava litol ela me'alalta sheyichelo Bar Marshmuel. Rava was only allowed to take the alalta that Bar Marshmuel left him. Eno asur ela b'chamesh aminim. So this is what Rav Yosef answered first. Rav Yosef thought that Kevan de Alalta Targum Tevuahu Chamesh Temim Bilchud Mashma. Since Alalta is the Targum of Tevuah, only the 5 minim is what Rava could take. Alalta Kol Milim Yishma. Abaye says no. Alalta is mashma everything. The Alalta Lashon Bi'ah ve'Achnasa ve'Shevach. So what's Alalta? Says the Ran. Why does it mean everything? Because it means Bi'ah bringing in. The achnasa and like profit, the shevach and like abundance and like like reward. So, like anything that goes up in value, anything of value. So now, fine. So again they tell Rava, no, everything. And Rava says no, I know it means everything. What I meant was, what about does it include the rent for the houses and ships or not? So now, Rava was the last one to send a message. He sent, I just want to know, does it mean the rent of houses or ships? 2, 4, 5 lines down in the Gemara. Amrua Rabbanan Kamei Rav Yosef. The rabbis told Rav Yosef Rava's last statement. No, I know what alata means. I just want to know, does it include the rent of the house or not? Amar, Rav Yosef said, if Rava doesn't need us, why did he send us the question? I mean, Rava didn't say, no, I know what it means, but hold on, you sent the question, what does alata mean? They answered him, said, no, I know what it means, but I want to know, does it include this or not? It seems like that format, Rava was not happy with. Rav Yosef was not happy with. And he says, why did he need to ask us then if he doesn't know it all, he knows it all, like why does he need to? Ikpid Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef was makpid. He stood his ground, he was upset that the way Rava asked and then he got the answer. He said, no, I know the answer, but this is what I meant. He didn't like that. Shama Rava. Rava heard that Rav Yosef was upset. And he came to him on Erev Yom Kippur to ask, I guess, for forgiveness. He came Erev Yom Kippur. Ashkache, Rava found L'sham'eh, the Eved of Rav Yosef, Dava Kamazig Kameh, that he was pouring in front of him, Kasad Chamra, a cup of wine. So he came to visit Rav Yosef to ask for forgiveness, and he saw the Eved of Rav Yosef pouring Rav Yosef a cup of wine. Amar le, he told the Eved, Havli, give it to me, the amzig le, ana. That I want to do the pouring. I want to give him the wine. Yayiv le, he gave it to him. The kamazig iu kasat chamra, and he, Rava, poured a cup of wine for Rav Yosef. Now, we'll see the run in a moment, but so it wasn't just pouring the wine. It was back in the day. The wine was very strong.
It said it was thick.
Yeah,
strong, so you had to dilute it with water.
Dilute it, right? So they had to dilute it with water, and so he asked. So Rav says, "Let me do the diluting. Let me do it." Now, when they brought him the cup of wine to Rav Yosef, now again Rav Yosef was blind. Kikashati, when he came to drink, when Rav Yosef came to drink, Amar, he said, Hadin mizga, this pouring, or meaning this combination, this recipe mix of water, this ratio, Dami the mizka de Rava. This is similar to Rava's mix. I guess he was able to taste. He has good taste.
Yeah.
I guess Rava.
And he drank from everybody.
Or when you're blind, you remember. Well, this combination is Rava's mix. Rava Berider of Yosef Bar Chama. He said his full name. It's like the. So Amar Le, who knew? It was him. They told him, he's him. It's him. So he said it's him. Now let's just pause for a second. Let's look at the run. Hadan mizga, this pouring, this combination. The dami the mizga the bere. Oh, here the ran has a nusach. It doesn't say the word Rava, but the bere de Rav Yosef Bar Chama, the son of Rav Yosef Bar Chama, which was Rava. The mazig al-chad tlata maya. How did he pour? He put 3 parts water to 1 part wine. The Rava Huda Amar was Rava that said, Kol chamra de lo dari al-chad tlata maya lav chamrahu. Any wine that's not 3 to 1 is not considered wine. I guess it's too thick, or if you put 4 to 1, then it's water. The proper combination is 3 to 1. Nowadays, we do not. Wine got weaker, and wine is 100% wine. Maybe the cheaper wines or cheaper grape juices, they add water, but in general, it's 100% wine, 100% grapes. Fine. So now he knows Rava is there. So we are 2, 4, 6, 8 lines up from the bottom. Amar le. Now Rav Yosef tells Rava. Now remember, he was upset at Rava for the way he asked the question. This Rava came to kind of ask for mechila. He tells him, Lo titiva karech, don't sit on your knees, don't sit down. Ad amar li pirusha da'aden milta. Don't sit down until you give me the explanation to the following words. What does it mean when it says in the pasuk, Umimidbar matana, umimatana nachaliel, uminachaliel bamot? There's a pasuk in the Torah, and it talks about the travels of the Mishkan, and from Midbar to Matana, Matana nachaliel. Sorry, it talks about the locations of the Be'er of Miriam. Midbar, Matana, Matana, Nachaliel, Nachaliel Bamot. But there's something more hidden over here. So he tells Rava, what does this mean? And it seems like he knew what Rava was going to answer, and he came to teach Rava a lesson from his own answer. Let's see. Amar Le, and this is a famous Gemara. And he tells, so Rava answers the following. He says, Kevan she'oseh adam et atzmo kamidbar, when a person makes himself into a desert, she'u mufkar lakol, that he is hefker to everyone. A desert is an empty place. People could step on it, people could walk on it, people could build on it, people could live on it. So if a person makes himself like a desert, where not he's taken advantage of, but he gives of himself to everyone, then Torah nitna lo b'matana. The Torah is given to him as a gift. Midbar matana. If you turn yourself into midbar, then the Torah is going to be given to you like a gift. Shneimar midbar matana. And this also connects to the Torah was given in the desert, etc. So if you make and Moshe Rabbeinu was an anav, and Har Sinai was the smallest mountain, and desert is a humble place. If you make yourself humble, then you will be giving Torah. You will be receiving Torah like a gift. Also, the Tosfot over here, Sheyeh Mufkar Lakol, Sheyeh Melamed Torah Lakol. You teach Torah for free, like a desert's free. Teach Torah for free. Then you get Torah like a gift. 4 lines up from the bottom. V'kevan shenitna lot b'matana nachalo el. And since the Torah is given to you as a gift, your inheritance will be Hashem. Shneimar mimatana nachaliel. Hashem will give you the inheritance. You will be like an inheritance from Hashem. V'kevan shenachalu el ola legdola. And since you are now God's inheritance, you receiver of Hashem's inheritance, you will rise to greatness. Shneimar uminachaliel bamot. Bamot is high up. V'im higbiya atzmo. But if you yourself go up too high, and you say, look at me, and you put yourself ga'ava, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mashpilo. Hashem's going to bring you down. Shneimar umibamot hagai. This is not the continuation of the pasuk of the Torah. It's a different pasuk from kind of continues the chain, and from bamot to the guy is a valley. So you want to bring yourself up, you're going to go down. V'lo od, and not only down, and the sheshok imoto b'karka, they're going to bury you. Hashem's going to kind of bury you in the ground. You're going to be that down. Shneimar v'nishkafa al penei yishimon. You're going to be seen upon the valley, and that's v'nishkafa. It seems like v'nishkea is the same type of like a play on words. You're going to be like buried in the valley. V'im chozerbo, but if you do chazara, if you do teshuvah, Kadosh Baruch Hu magbiyo. Hashem is going to lift you up. Shneimar, kol gai yinaseh. As the pasuk says, every valley is going to be lifted up. So that's the end of the Gemara. What's going on over here? Let's see the last run on this page. Ma dichtivu midbar matana. Itkaven Rav Yosef lehazir Rava sheyesh shafel ruach beyoter. Rav Yosef had a kavanah to warn Rava to be more humble. And the way that you sent the question, the way you answered about the question, it wasn't so humble. What does alalta mean? And he told him what alalta means, and then he said, "No, I know what it means, but what does it mean? Does it include the rent? That's you don't ask like that. Be a little bit more humble." That's what he wanted to teach him. If you look at the next page of the Ran, Uli'inyan halacha, regarding the halacha of Rava's question. Well, does it indeed include the rent of the house or not? So the Ran says, "Bayan de Rava lo ivshita." The Rava's question is not answered. Lo gav ischar. It's not answered, and therefore we have to go strict. Lo gav ischar batim ischar sfinot. Deyad balashta al tachtona. Aval gav nedarim naktin lechumra v'kulam bichlal. Meaning, he says, when it comes to actual reward, it's not on the shtar. It's not included. You can't get. It's not alalta does not include rent of house and rent of ships. When it comes to nedarim, a person says all alalta I don't want. For nedarim we go machmir, and that would include you can't even have benefit from your rent of the house, rent of thing. And one thing I checked up the Ben Yehoyada. Ben Yehoyada says that the Ben Ish Chai that the word matana. So he says the word ma, memhe, is 45, is connected to anava. It's connected to humility. And he brings matishtocha, like my soul bows down. Right? So this is like my soul bows down to you, Hashem. So the word ma is there. So ma is anava. He brings a few other psukim. Ma is gematria 45. If you take Hashem's name Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, and you spell it out with Hey spelled out as an Aleph, so Yud is Yud Vav Dalet, so that is 20. Hey is Hey Aleph, if you use the Alephs, so that's 26. Vav is Vav Vav, it's another 12, so that's 38. And then Hey Aleph, again, is 6, so that is 44. You could be off by 1 in Gematria. So when you have Anava, you have Ma, and you have a connection to Hashem. You have a connection to Hashem. The word 10 means to give, is the Gematria 450, which is 10 times 10, also 10 times Ma, 10 times things. So the word Matana is comprised of Mem and Hey, and 10 in the middle. So when a person has Anava, you're going to get 10 times the amount back. That's as a matana, as a gift. That's the Ben Ish Chai says. You get Hashem with you, and you get 10 times. So the Hashem. Nice.
Can I ask an offline
Offline question?
Finish the report.